Okay, so this is the second part of the lecture for my EH100 class for October 7th. Again, I'm sorry that I'm having to call out. I'm really not feeling well. So as always, I'll kind of walk you through an example paragraph. So for this, I decided on a prompt. Do you think that technical schools and occupation should be viewed as equal to, lesser than, or greater than a college education? And the stance I'm taking is that I think technical schools should be considered equal. So for pre-writing, I just jotted down some ideas. The income in the two is about the same, or that sometimes people in technical schools will actually make more. They both require specialized skills. They cater to different skill sets because different people have different skills, and those should all be considered valued. And the crafts and creations of objects are an important part of our economy. So then, after I've done that pre-writing, I reverse the prompt. So the prompt asked me whether I thought that technical schools should be considered lesser than, greater than, or equal to. So I decided on equal to. Technical schools and the careers they prepare students for should be considered equal to a college education because. So then to fill in those blanks, I'm going to add in my evidence. And I've decided to focus on how technical schools teach skills, how the jobs are needed for the economy, and how treating these as equal would allow for a more equitable understanding of personal value. So to make my thesis statement or my topic sentence here, I combine them. Technical schools and the careers they prepare students for should be considered equal to a college education because both require specialized skills. Trades are an important and valuable part of our economy, and viewing different contributions as equal helps people see these skills and contributions as valuable. So you can see that this is just these two together. So for my exposition, I'll make, my individual points. So my first point had to do with both types of education teaching skills. So to introduce that, I'll say technical schools teach students important skills that are necessary in their fields. And then I'll present it. For instance, mechanics learn how to diagnose and fix problems with cars in much the same way that doctors learn how to diagnose and treat patients. And then analyze that from there. So the critical thinking and practical skills taught in technical schools have similar value as those taught on college campuses and should be treated as equally valuable. So here I'm saying that critical thinking is taught in both types of education, and that is important, and thus, because they're both the same basic skill, they should be treated as equally valued. So then we'll get to the second one, the value of the products for our economy. So introduce, in fact, those who learn a trade perform valuable services that are crucial to our economy. And I have two presents here just because I decided to go that way. So plumbers, for instance, fix toilets and plumbing, which are tasks that most of us don't want to do. Similarly, mechanics fix cars, and their specialized knowledge ensures that we're able to get where we need to go. So then after I've presented, I'll explain why that's important and how it relates back to my thesis. So the jobs that these individuals do are not only necessary, but they are also well paid because these individuals perform tasks that the average individual has neither the knowledge nor the desire to do. And we'll do the same thing with our third point. So we'll talk about personal contributions and a kind of a personal sense of value. So to introduce it, I'll say something like our current model prioritizes one type of information or learning over others by stressing the intellectual demands of college. And then I'll present my evidence. However, this leaves many individuals who work better with their hands or who are interested in a different kind of problem solving feeling inferior to their college-educated peers. And then after I've presented that evidence, I'll explain why it's important. But those who work in these trades make valuable and necessary contributions to our society and economy, and they should be treated with an equal level of respect. And then finally, we will go with the transition sentence. So for the transition sentence, I'll rephrase the thesis and add any significance. So rephrasing the thesis, we currently prioritize a college education, but perhaps we should change our thinking. Or we currently prioritize a college education is kind of restating part of the thesis. And then perhaps we should change our thinking because those who choose to attend trade school, again, continuing the thesis, learn important skills, contribute to society, and deserve to be treated with the same respect as their college-educated counterparts. And so you can see I've ended up rephrasing my thesis in here and then explaining why it's important. And that's a crucial part of the persuasive argumentative mode. So I hope this has helped to kind of clarify for you what's expected for this type of writing. Now let me go back over here, and sorry, you saw that I was kind of had some stuff up in the background. Where is it? Okay, so here's your paragraph 6 assignment and example. As always, I'll kind of walk you through it real quick. So let me pull that back up. Let me take the review pane off. Oh no, the review pane is there because I have it below. Okay, so paragraph 6 assignment, as always, I'm kind of describing the assignment to you. So all roads lead here. The majority of college writing is in the persuasive and argumentative modes. In fact, most of the paragraphs we've discussed so far techniques used in making an effective argument and are intended to help you to prepare to use these skills in longer essays. This week, we'll get some practice at writing this particular set of modes. You'll choose one of the following topics and create a well-crafted argument meant to persuade the reader to consider your point of view. My original plan was for us to talk about these in class so that the students who actually came to class would be able to have some input on things that they feel passionate about. So that's why that text was in blue. I'm either going to create some prompts in a few minutes, or I'll give you guys a poll, which I'm thinking I'll probably do a poll, and let you decide on some. I'll decide which way I'm going to go in a minute. Excuse me. As always, only choose one prompt. If you attempt to answer multiple prompts, you automatically receive the grade of 0. Remember to put your name, the name of this class, and the date in the upper left-hand corner of the page. In previous assignments, there was a typo, and I said upper right, and that was incorrect. I'm not great at spatial reasoning. So you'll put the name of the assignment, which is actually paragraph 6. There's a typo there too. Sorry, guys, I'm not feeling well. In the center of the first line of the body of the paragraph, or body of the paper. Start with a clear topic sentence that mentions your stance or claim and the evidence being discussed. End with a clear transition sentence that summarizes the point you made and states why your point of view is valid. In between, include your evidence and arguments in the exposition. Make sure you have a clear organizational structure. The paper should be formatted in Times New Roman 12-point font, the same as this assignment. The paper should be double-spaced. With the exception of the title, all text should be aligned on the left side of the page. Make sure you indent, just press tab, the first line of the paragraph as well. Please use the conventions of standard English, including grammar, punctuation, spelling, and so on. I am taking off more for that now because you guys do have all the tools, so make sure you proofread. Please avoid second-person pronouns, you and your, as well as these are banned in college writing. And any other teacher would take points off as well. So here is the example paragraph. So we've got the header, we've got paragraph 6. I color-coded this one, so yellow is the claim, blue is 0.1, green is 0.2, and gray is 0.3. So although it is often necessary due to concerns about COVID-19, distance learning is less effective for students because students have limited access to the teacher, less access to required materials, and limited motivation to do the required work. So my claim here is that distance learning is less effective for students, and my first point is limited access to the teacher. My second point is less access to required material. And my third point is limited motivation. Then with traditional approaches. So first point, distance learning formats often require students to work independently, which means they are not in a classroom with other students. So that's my introduce step. Thus, students are less likely to engage with teachers, ask questions, or participate in classroom discussions. Let's present. Instead, students must reach out to teachers via email or messaging, and the lack of in-person interaction reduces the chances that the student will do that unless there is a concrete reason. So that's also present. This in turn means that students are less likely to ask for help when they need it and are more likely to have a limited understanding of the material they'll get behind. So this is the analyze step. Additionally, online learning requires that students have access to reliable internet connection, required software, digital copies of course material, and a whole host of other additional software and hardware. So that's the introduce step. The required technology can be expensive in some cases, and students in less beneficial economic situations may not be able to access all of the recommended tools. So then that's present. Even in the best of situations, glitches happen, and students may spend valuable learning time trying to navigate software technical difficulties, which takes away from the time they should be or could be spending learning. So there's your analyze. And then the last one, it's point 3, is in gray. Finally, motivation to learn also diminishes with online learning. In a classroom, students might be motivated by opportunities to use knowledge in class to impress peers or their teacher. That motivation simply does not exist with online learning. Online courses require a great deal of self-motivation, which, apparently my battery's about to die, which requires that students develop their own individual goals and reasons for mastering the material. If students do not create this motivation, they are more likely to perform poorly in a course, and the frustration associated with self-directed learning might overpower any previous motivations the student had. So that's the third point. And then for the final point, thus distance learning, although necessary, is a weak replacement for traditional learning. Again, I'm restating my claim. Because students are less likely to have access to resources when they need help, restating point A, complete the coursework, restating point B, and create the motivation needed for success, restating point 3. Okay, so that's the end of the second one. I'm gonna put a third one up in just a minute, but obviously I need to get my battery really quickly charged and get this uploaded. So I'll see you guys again in a few minutes.